What's up you guys, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. Now living in Toronto, the alerts we get the most here are Amber Alerts, and that's for when a kid under 18 goes missing and there's concern over the person they're with hurting them. So I've never actually heard any other alerts other than like the fire alarms that go off my building that go off for no reason but literally petrify my cat either way, which is just sad for her, honestly. Feel bad for her. Either way, Landon hit you with part 1 and part 2, and here I am with top 10 scary emergency broadcast alerts part 3. Starting us off with number 10 is HEZBOLLAH. Now if you're unaware, HEZBOLLAH is essentially a Shia Islamist political party and militant group in Lebanon. During the 2006 Israel-Lebanon war, Israel actually hijacked a satellite transmission for HEZBOLLAH's own Al Manar TV to broadcast their own anti-HEZBOLLAH propaganda. The boldest move of the interruption was showing the leader of the group, Hassan Nasrallah, with crosshairs over his face and 3 gunshots in the background with a voice going, "Your day is coming." Like, that's a very bold thing to hack and broadcast as a political statement. Militant groups don't take things like this lightly, and HEZBOLLAH is no exception. And including the fact that the whole contention between Israel and the Middle East over Palestine is all just like, honestly, let's just add more fuel to the fire. Screw it. HEZBOLLAH, you're going down. Coming in at number 9 is the fake alert. So this one took place back in April of 2018 in the popular neighborhood of Osborne Village in Winnipeg, Canada. A loudspeaker started blaring out this message: all Canadian residents should seek out a fallout shelter immediately. If members of the Canadian Armed Forces direct you to a fallout shelter, please follow them for your safety. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be speaking on all stations shortly. And this was a loud ass alert, so you didn't even have to be in the area in order to hear it. People started running from coffee shops, dropping their belongings, trying to figure out how much time they had before the police issued a statement saying it wasn't an official alert and was actually played through a home speaker system. Even the Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization listened to the audio, admitting it sounded extremely real, especially with the references to Trudeau. Can you imagine everyone losing their and the police is like, that was fake. That was played out at a home stereo. At number 8, we have the social media Amber Alert. So this one absolutely broke my heart, because how can someone even do this? But either way, it took place in Toronto back in March of 2016. A father called the police in the afternoon after his 3-month-old baby and car was stolen. Apparently he had driven the car to this flea market and the baby was in the back seat and the car was still running when it was stolen. The dad chased after the car, but eventually it was out of sight. Man versus car. You can only chase for so long. The Amber Alert went out and officers from different neighborhoods were put on the case to assist the 23 officers already searching. Constable Craig Brister tweeted out the Amber Alert and it was retweeted more than 1,000 times. Twitter had gone crazy trying to urge everyone to keep an eye out for the baby, and eventually the vehicle was found in a parking lot with the sleeping baby in the bag. The suspect got away though in the end, but as long as the baby was safe, I don't really care what happens to this guy. Unless obviously he strikes again, then we need to take him down. ASAP Rocky. Filling at number 7 slot is Jesus Christ. So this one happened in Australia back in 2007 during the broadcast of Canadian TV show Mayday on Channel 7. Midway through the show, the screen went black and a haunting audio loop started playing for 6 minutes over and over again. The audio was saying, "Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord.
Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord."
As the words were also continuously flashing on the screen. It turns out the audio was taken from a news program that had aired the year before, and it was from a man pleading for his life as insurgents opened fire on his truck. We still to this day don't know if it was just a glitch or it was intentional, but honestly this isn't the first time hackers have done stuff like this, and I assure you it won't be the last, so I 100% think it was intentional. That's just me. Personally, my personal opinion. Now at number 6 is the low voice. Not my own, because I know I have one. No, somebody else. So back in October of 2017, radio station K94.5 in LA started getting a lot of questions from listeners about a creepy voice they heard on the radio the previous day. The extremely low-pitched voice was heard on select stations and it was just listing off states. But imagine hearing that while casually listening to the radio. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Is that a hit list? Like, is Montana on there? Like, turns out it was an EAS test that wasn't meant to go over the airwaves, but a glitch in some of the radio stations caused it to anyway. The weekly test is sent to local radio station by common alerting protocol, and they're meant to be decoded by each station but never aired. So I mean, false alarm, but still, imagine that. Imagine you're just vibing to Sorry by Justin Bieber and all of a sudden it's like Virginia, West Virginia, Texas. It's like, dude, that part of the lyrics? I didn't know that. Coming in at number 5 is the intent to take. So in May of 2019, an Amber Alert was sent out looking for William Gooden, a 3-year-old boy said to be abducted by his mum Brianna. The two were apparently wandering around Rainbow Center Mall and was supposed to be dropped off back to his grandma, who was his official guardian. But the mother and kid failed to show up, so naturally the grandma called the police. Ain't nobody taking my kid today. Police started scrambling, looking at places the mum frequented, including the Greyhound station, which is essentially just a bus service in Canada. Is it in America? I'm not really sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, at 3 AM that night, an employee confirmed to the police that the two had been seen boarding a bus going to Toronto from Sudbury. 3 alerts were sent out throughout the day, so you can imagine how scared everyone was just getting these alerts in the middle of the night trying to find this missing kid. The boy was found at 7:30 AM after a tip came in from his own mum, and police never really concluded whether her intent was to kidnap him or not. Maybe it was a day field trip to Toronto, I don't know. Still weird the fact she was the one who phoned in her own tip. Like, oh, I found the woman with the missing kid. At number 4 is the New York frenzy. Back in September of 2016, New Yorkers got an emergency alert in the morning that said this: Wanted Ahmed Khan Rahami, 28-year-old male. See media for pic. Call 911 if seen. Along with a piercing tone is so bad it'd probably wake up the dead. I'm not even lying to you right now. The alert was in regards to the attack on Chelsea that happened on the Saturday beforehand that injured more than 24 people. Now usually wireless emergency alerts have 3 purposes. They're either from the president, they're Amber Alerts, or they're to do with imminent threats to the public's safety. This alert was none of those things, and how unprofessional to be like, see media for picture, which literally means Google it and treat anyone that looks like they could be Muslim or called Ahmed like utter sh**. WEAs are limited to 90 characters, which is even shorter than a tweet, you guys. Surely that has to be changed. Their geotagging is also very poor, meaning it alerts people nowhere near the desired epicenter. But as you can imagine, anyone getting the alert flipped sh**, and rightfully so. Filling at number 3 slot is the San Jose man. So back in September of 2019, a statewide Amber Alert was issued in Cambria after a man was suspected of abducting his 2-year-old daughter. The police was called after a woman was heard screaming in a house. When they finally arrived, they found the woman with a stab wound, claiming her boyfriend Victor Magana had stabbed her and taken their kid. The alert warned everyone to not approach Victor if they do see him around. He ended up being recognized at a gas station by clerk Cody Tarver, who then called the police while customers tried to stall Victor. They ended up physically restraining him until officers got there, all the while as he screamed, "That's not me, it's not me." Plot twist, it was him. Now at number 2 is Virginia Tech campus. This one's from Diana Jones Cox, who shared the story on Quora back in 2018. Diana shared that she lives quite close to the Virginia Tech campus, and the area already had issues with an escaped prisoner killing people as well as gun carriers on campus. Both of which are just very problematic, but I'm just going to sweep that under the rug for a second. In April of 2007, a student on campus shot 33 people, and Diana was one of many people that got the high alert about the situation. Everyone was freaking out, not knowing all the full details or where the shooter even was. Diana was watching from her office as police car after ambulance was rushing to the campus. Phone lines were jammed because of how many people were calling. The whole thing was anarchy and all very real. Imagine being there, getting the high alert when all of this was actually happening, and that is a lot to deal with. It was one of the deadliest school shootings for a very long time, just FYI. And finally, at number 1 is hatefulness. On the 20th of February 1971, US citizens were in a widespread panic due to a federal alert test gone wrong, making them think a nuclear war was about to occur. The alert system used to get tested every Saturday, but on that particular Saturday, a real message came over the teletype network that sits inside every single TV and radio station. This was the message. The message read as follows: "This is an emergency action notification directed by the president. Normal broadcasting will cease immediately." Hatefulness was also used before the message, and that was that day's special code word that broadcasters knew to mean the message was real. Not a drill, people, this is not a drill. Immediately, programming was cut and no one was keeping their exposure. It was bad. Listeners started calling in, people started fearing the worst, but thankfully 40 minutes later the Office of Civil Defense sent a cancellation message with the right code word, impish, which is, I mean, it's kind of borderline ironic, isn't it? And that is it for today's video, guys. Damn. I thought Amber Alerts were annoying, but after all this, I was like, Amber Alerts are nothing. And honestly, I don't find them annoying, they're just kind of like shocking. Like I always think I'm getting a message, but it's actually just like a notification for a missing child, and I was like, ooh, sad boy hours commence. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. As always, I'm your host Eamon Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. During the 2006 Israel-Lebanon War, during the 2006 Israel-Lebanon and including the fact that contention between Israel and the Middle East over Palestine, and considering the whole contention with, wanted Ahmed Khan Rahami in the morning that said that, okay, so back in September of 2016, New York has but thankfully 40 minutes later,